Hello everyone, welcome, good evening. Welcome. Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Classroom. I'm feeling so elated doing this again. It's been a while. I took a break from social media, but I'm so glad to be back here today doing this. And today's episode is going to be a very interesting one, and it is especially special for me because I'm hosting someone who is special to me. Did you see that special? My guest today is Oluwaseyi Babarinde, and she's one of those people who I can say has been with me through my journey in the education sector. Of course, our relationship goes beyond work. So just know that you're in for a great time this evening. And I'm going to be adding Sheyi shortly. Go back and rephrase why this event holds rather. So Teachers Lounge is a platform for teachers to come on to share their stories and to just let us have a feel of what goes on in the classroom. You know, that way other teachers can be inspired, and then even parents can get one or two tips, you never can tell, from teachers. I just see it as a platform where you can come to be inspired. And here comes Shay. Hello, Shay.
Hi, good evening. How are you today?
Well, it's so good to have you here this evening.
Good to have you here.
All right. So I was just telling everyone about how special she is to me. I remember that we both got into the graduate training program of a school together, and we've been friends since then. So I'm just going to allow Shay to give us a short uh, introduction. Tell us about yourself, Shay. The video is off. Okay, let's just give Shay some space because I'm guessing he's trying to sort some things. All right, so welcome. I can see Adekunle Ajibulu in the chat. Welcome. Ayodeji Babajide, welcome. Ogale Eleju. Mrs. Eleju, good evening, ma'am. Welcome. So good to have you here with us. And Shay is going to join. She's going to join us. Mate Global Stores, thank you for joining. I know the person behind that handle. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. Welcome, everyone. And just before Shay comes back, I was saying that Teachers Lounge is a platform where teachers can come on to share their stories with us. That way we can get insight about the things happening in the classroom, and then we can get inspired. And of course, other teachers can learn best practices. You can learn something that works for a teacher, because the truth is that as teachers, we often have similar experiences. So I'm just going to welcome Mrs. Ami. Okay, Shay is back on now, and I'm just going to, Shay, please request to join so that I can add you. Okay. Hi, Maureen. Welcome, Mrs. Okafor. Good to have you here with us. Shay, please request to join so I can add you on. Okay. Hello, Esu Jahi. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Welcome back to me.
My apologies. Thank you so much. Can you hear me clearly now?
Clearly, as clear as day.
All right, great. So thank you so much. So sorry about that. I had a bit of a technical.
Works. It's fine. Thank you. All right. So I was just telling you to please introduce yourself to everyone. I'm sure that people want to get to know who is this fine, beautiful damsel sitting in front of this camera. Please, let's get to know you.
All right. Thank you so much, Christiana, for having me on Teachers Lounge. I'm delighted to be here. I see the great work you're doing, for teachers, and it's really good to be here. So thank you for having me. All right. My name is Oluwaseyi Babarinde, and I'm a teacher. I'm a class teacher in a renowned school in Lekki. I am a big-time volunteer for causes that have to do with children and health, basically. So this is
That's who you are. All right. Now, if there's one fun fact about Shay, it is the fact that Shay loves volunteering. Like Shay is a member of Red Cross. Then you were the one that dragged me into missions. What's that one? YP. Shay
YP,
is
Young Professional
yes,
Mission.
once she hears Bolon, she's gone. So tell us, Shay, I know you studied sociology
Right.
in school. How did you become a teacher? How did a sociologist enter the classroom? How come?
My mind. Okay, so yes, I studied sociology in university, and so after school, I had some time before really getting into work. I saw this Hope Foundation platform to volunteer. I think I see some of my Hope Foundation members here. Hi, Abiola. All right, so I seized the opportunity. I volunteered, and I was able to talk to teenagers. It was something that we were doing every year. So that was really my first experience teaching. I found it really interesting. And sometime along the line, I worked with an insurance company for about 4 years. Then I was just, getting tired of the industry. I wanted something different. And then one of these days, I see this, um, vacancy for for a school. And my sister was like, okay, I've tried. I once applied to this school. It's a very good school. What do you think about it? Why not go ahead and apply? So basically, it was my sister that pushed me into it. So I applied. I went through the process and all, and that was how I became a teacher officially, professionally. That's how I found myself in four walls of a classroom, and it has been a very interesting journey so far. And I was able to transfer some of my skills from volunteering, into the classroom. So that's how I found myself in classroom.
Awesome, awesome, Shay. The first time Shay told me that, because we met at the graduate training program in that school, right? So the first time you told me you
Yeah.
had 4 years experience working before that, I was stunned because I'm like, excuse me, auntie, how old are you? How can you have worked for 4 years already? Okay, so tell us, how long have you been working in the education sector? And tell us, how has the journey been?
Okay, so professionally, I would say 6 years, 6 years in the educational sector, and it has been a very interesting journey. You're thinking of, working with children, it's like you're doing a very delicate task. Like you have children in your care, you're working with lives, you know, you're working with lives, and you are a very important part of their future. You're a very important part of what they turn out to become. The role of a teacher can never be overemphasized. You're knowing that, okay, this is a year. I have a full session. I have about 9 months with these kids, and I have to make the very best of it. So it's always interesting when the children are coming in. You have high hopes, sometimes mixed feelings. What's it going to be like this session? And then after the 9 months are over, you're like, I hope I really gave it my best. I hope I really gave it my. So far, it's been an interesting journey. it's been an interesting journey.
All right. Thank you so much, Shelly. Now, if there's something I also know about you, guys, permit me. This is one of my favorite people in the world. So I have like background gist about her. If there's something I know about you,
Right.
it's the fact that you are very passionate about teaching. In fact, I feel like if we did a series on the secret lives of teachers, permit me to use Yoruba again. Oh, master, like we're going to make great sales. Because I know what you do backstage when nobody's watching, when nobody sees you, how you take time to study, understand every child in your class, and see and strategize how you can meet their needs. So can you walk us through what are maybe just give us 4 examples of learners that often walk into your classroom. You can also give us real-life examples without mentioning names, of course, of learners that you've encountered, their challenges, and how you were able to, strategize and tackle them. All right, please.
Okay, so yes, you have the gifted and the talented children. Like the word says, gifted. Like these children are very good at what they do. Some of them they're in a particular class, but their intellectual capacity is working at, one class ahead. So you cannot afford to cheat them by giving them the same teaching the same way you're teaching every other child in your class. So I had this child in my class, his friends would always ask, what books can we get for this boy? He's not exactly at the level as the other children in class. So we always needed to challenge him, because if you give him the regular task, once he's done, he gets distracted, he starts, distracting other children, he gets bored, you're not really getting the best of him, so children like that in your class could come across as know-it-alls, but then it's not their fault that they actually know a lot, but then they could also tend to make mistakes, so you also need to ensure that those children are working carefully and being gifted not just academically. You could have them in other areas like swimming. There was a boy that joined my class last term. Yes, last term, and wow, the boy swims like a coach. I've never seen a child swim like that. He even had to be represented in the school, his club in Germany. Sometimes that's how good he's so good. So you have children like that, the gifted children. Next, you have the helping hands. I'll call them the helping hands. You hear things like, Mr. Bray, can I arrange the table? Mr. Bray, can I pack your book? Mr. Bray, can I do this? Can I help you with that? And these children are very wonderful to have in your class. They will make your job easy. Your class will almost be very tidy at all times. But then you need to also learn these children also need to learn that they are not the only ones. You should give other children an opportunity as well. So they shouldn't be doing all the work. Other children would also want to do it. And because they have this sense of responsibility, I want to do this, I want to do that, they could also be a distraction to themselves, because they are stuck in that that particular, they are fixated on getting a task done instead of getting their own task done. Do you understand? Then we also have let me say, mostly very sensitive children. This kind of children. I had a boy, he'll come to my class, when he comes to class, he'll hug me, I'm a lower parent teacher, okay, so it's very much allowed. Just good morning, everywhere, how are you today? Very caring, sensitive. So this kind of children, you want to be, as a teacher, you might want to be careful saying, okay, because this child is very sensitive, let me be careful. When he does something wrong, I'm not going to shout at, I'm not going to, be so stern, but it doesn't work like that, you need to ensure that you're very fair with all the children. As much as this child is, sensitive, you need to be stern. When the child does something wrong, you reprimand him or her. Okay, then I also have the children that can distract subtly. They come across as they're sitting, they look like they're sitting, they're listening, they're following in cars. But you just need to get close to those children. You find out that they're probably fiddling with something under their desk, or they're probably just smiling at the child next to them, or they're probably just, doing one thing or the other. Those kind of children as teachers, we know them and we keep our eyes on them. You probably want to have that kind of child sitting right in front of the classroom. You probably want to ask that kind of child questions regularly, frequently, ensuring that they are not distracted. So, we have so many shades of little humans, wonderful children. It's just a beautiful experience, having these different sides.
Thank you, Shay. If there's something about teaching, I think that it's this diversity of learners that we have that actually keeps us hungry for work as teachers. Like, they're the ones that will make you wake up, get to class, because if you consider all the other values that comes with teaching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
You talked about the GRTs, the helping hands, the sensitive ones, and the subtle distractors. Okay, Shay, can you talk about a particularly memorable or meaningful moment that you've had in your teaching career so far?
Okay, I've had quite a number of memorable moments. I'll just talk about a particular one where, during COVID, we had all the children online. And then, when things were getting relaxed, like 2021, we had a sort of blended learning where some children could come into school while some children chose to stay at home. And, I had this particular child that was at home all through. I never saw her. So we're practically teaching her in the classroom, but she was joining online. So to an extent, my teacher and I felt like, okay, let me speak for myself. I felt like we were really doing so much. We were trying because, we were just learning that particular platform, so we just felt like, she was probably not getting the best as much as we were really trying so much to carry her along. By the time you're working with the children in class, you're also looking at this child who's online, and we really gave it a very best shot. At the end of the session, the parents sent a very long mail to school, telling the school about how great we were and how much they enjoyed 1 year of online learning, and how much, it was even that class happens to be their favorite class, all through since they joined. And I was wondering, like, okay, I felt like struggling, but apparently, it looked like we were giving, like we did so much, we went over and beyond, which we really tried to do. But it was so good to know that they saw it. It was so good to know that we achieved so much, even using the online platform. Till I never saw her, but I saw her online. And it was a great time.
Talking about COVID, I feel like COVID changed the trajectory of education. Can you just share your experience for that? I think you've touched on it a bit, but I would just like you to expatiate a bit more. So share your experience with COVID-19 and post-COVID. How did you thrive as a teacher?
Okay, so we were supposed to, school was supposed to close for the term sometime in April, but sometime in March, we started hearing that we needed to close, the school needed to close down, we needed to go back home and, teach from home. I was wondering, how is this going to work? We had started something like that, but, doing it like exclusively, like totally, online teaching. How was it going to work? But then we started. we really started. And it just showed me that, the fact that something is new doesn't mean you shouldn't exactly feel so nervous about something that is new. The fact that it's new doesn't mean it's not going to be great, right? So we knew that this was the option we had, and we just had to make the best of that particular option. Apparently, we were able to get children to sit and get their work done, teaching and learning continued even online. Definitely we had to ensure that, we had the children's attention from start to finish. We allowed them to get up, have some breaks in between. I remember that period I was having constant headache, back to back. Having to sit on the screen, having to make lesson plans online, then teach online, have all that period, mark their work online. It was a lot of screen time, a whole lot of screen time. But it worked, right? Teaching and learning worked, and the children definitely progressed in the academics as well.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I think that when conversations like this come up, I always like to throw it in that irrespective of what you're doing as a person right now, it's important that if you're not yet introducing technology, you should start thinking about how to integrate technology into whatever it is you're doing. I believe we were working at the same organization then, and it was so, I would say, easy. I'm using that word easy loosely here, but it was easy for us to sort of transition into online teaching because there were some little things that had already been put in place, so we could just leverage that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Shane. I'm sure that you would have had times that you had major obstacles before you. Can you share any of such experiences with us?
Okay, major obstacles. All right, so I will talk about something that happened just recently. So sometime last session, I had two children in class that, you know, so I had I will just say child A and child B. So child A is a very gentle girl. She's a new child, well behaved. She wants to be everybody's friend. She just wants to be a happy child, make friends. Child B is also a very gentle girl, you know. So she has her own clique of friends. She has her own friends, but because child A wanted to, you know, be friends with everyone in class, she kept going to child B. And I just saw child B as a child that, I don't want to be everybody's friend. I just want to be in my space. So mom kept saying, okay, Mr. Bray, please, I would like you to look into this case of these two children. It appears that um, child B is being a bit, doing some sort of mean things to child A. And sorry
Sorry
about
about
that.
that.
And then thank you. After much investigation, this gentle child B, you would never think, she's just a gentle girl. You would never think that she would have, you know, this sort of character up her sleeves, because I just wondered, like, why would she was actually being mean to child A, okay, but I was just there defending that, no, I know what's going on in class, I see everything, so I don't think that anything is going on as such. But after much investigation, because I'd had it up to here, I had to call the both of them. And I later realized that child B had actually been quite mean to child A, and I just felt like, okay, do I just let this go? Because it's already like the end. Do I just let it go? Or do I follow up with it? It was a bit of a dilemma. Do I just let it go? Because, school is already closing up. But I chose to follow up with it. It was quite a difficult decision, but I chose to follow up with it. And eventually I just learned that, the fact that a child looks very calm, nice, smiley, well behaved in class does not mean that you can just totally trust that
Now,
child,
don't
you know. And as teachers, one, you need to follow up. You need to follow up. You need to follow up. You need to investigate. That's the word. You need to investigate and ensure that, you know, find out the truth. Really,
okay. Thank you
really.
so much. So we shouldn't just assume based on appearances. We need to keep our eyes,
Yes,
heart,
absolutely.
ears open, and just follow up. Thank you so much, Shay. Investigate. I got that word. Thank you so much. So, I don't know if it's only me. Recently, we had this project at my workplace. We're going to teach children how to do certain things, and I just went to my house, pick this, pick that, pick this, and project was ready. Please, I know it's a teacher habit. Teachers like to hoard things. That toilet roll paper may be useful for my next class decoration. That star shape, don't throw it away. That star, I may need that star to cut out one blah blah blah. Or for me, I think that my worst teacher
So,
habit is repeating things. I don't know how to break out of it anymore. I find myself saying statements twice for emphasis. Even though some students, we know some children will still do the opposite. So tell us, what are your teacher habits, Shay?
okay, my teacher habits. So I would start with teacher voice, you know. Sometimes I find myself, you you just need to I believe that as a teacher you have different voices, you have different tones. You know when to go, okay, how are you today? Are you okay? And you know when to go, excuse me, what did you just do? You know, you have to learn how to be very diverse. You know, sometimes when I'm talking to some of my friends, I hear things like, please don't go teacher on me right now. I'm not one of your students because I've just gotten to that point where, you know, I just, you know, go in and out, you know, the teacher voice thing. Then I would also say, when I was in secondary school, I had this teacher. I will never forget Mrs. Jegede. GS3, GS3. Once she catches somebody doing something or you're probably making noise, she just goes, if I catch you. And she never completes that statement. She never finishes. She just goes, if I catch you. And you're wondering, okay, what happened? So somehow, some way, I found myself doing this in class. So I think I should misbehave sometimes, and I just turn and say, if I catch you, you know. And I'm like, hey, you learned this from secondary school. Why? Why? You know, and then some other times, you know, I just I just find myself saying things like, what? For example, when the noise level is going high and I just want to interject, I go, what? And
When
then they
you
speak up and, you know, get. So basically, that's it. That's it. That's all I can remember right now.
I think when you said what, I just flashed back to my time in the classroom when I'll just look at students and say, I just heard some noise, but I'm not sure if it's coming from this class or another class. Okay, thank you, Shay. So I believe that
Thank you.
profession is one that, you know, there's no, you can't put a worth to a teacher's value. I know there should be a better way to phrase that, but what I just mean is that teachers are invaluable. Okay, or teachers are valuable. That sounds counterintuitive. But what I mean is that teachers, medical doctor, motivator, encourager, comforter, make,
Nanny,
uh,
nanny, story hearer.
so what like we have a lot of roles that we fill in the.
Yes, we have diversified roles.
Yes, and I know that beyond the curriculum that we teach, let me just say English, math, science, there's a hidden curriculum as well, where we as teachers want to inspire positive behavior in our learners. How do you achieve that?
Okay. When the children come into school, when they come, when it's a new session, when the children come into the class, you want to ensure that you are setting some very ground rules. Okay, so it's not starting from the middle of the session. It's not starting from the middle of the term, right from day one. And I learned this from the teacher I worked with previously. So I noticed, I just observed that once the children come into the class newly, she's establishing ground rules. Okay, you do not put your bag on the table during snack. You put it right beside you. Your water bottle goes down. Okay, so you maintain a very low sound at this when you're on the corridor, your hands go behind you. So gradually the children are imbibing this. Gradually they're imbibing, and of course they are not clean slates. They are coming with something. Okay, so you just want to ensure that right from day one you're setting these rules in place, and you also want to ensure that your children feel a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of being a part of the class. And one of the ways you want to do that is by ensuring that you set the rules together. So you taught me how to use class dojo, and I use that a lot in my classroom now. Okay, so we talk about it. What do we term positive behavior? The children tell us positive behavior when the teacher is talking, you keep quiet. You submit your homework early in the morning, and we write them down. We put them on the class dojo. We assign points. If your environment is tidy, how many points should we give them? They talk about it. Let's give 2 points. Let's give 1 point. Okay. So we have all agreed and decided on what positive behaviors to look out for and what negative behaviors to look out for. Okay. You want to have a classroom where the children feel they are a part. Do you understand? And as much as you want to ensure that your children are very, comfortable, you also want to be stern. You want to be very fair. You want the children to know that I love you, and that's why you're going to be punished for doing the wrong thing. I love you, and that's why you're going to be praised for doing the right thing. Okay, and you want to be fair. You want to be very, very, as a teacher, you want to be fair. Okay, you really want to be fair.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Shay. So I picked some things from what you said. I picked three things. I picked start from day one. You must begin from the very first chance that you get with them. You should lay down the rules. I also picked the fact that you should create a sense of community. Don't just tell them, don't come down and give them the commandments. You all should decide together what are the things that we should do as a community, and then they would also feel that sense of commitment towards the goals because they set it alongside. And then fairness, you must be very fair. You can't, what you do for the goose, you must do for the gander as well. Thank you so much, Shay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Fumilayo Adeniwa has a question for you. She says, how do you handle a child that forgets things quickly?
All right. So for a child that forgets things quickly, you are not the child like it's not like the child chooses to forget. It's not like the child chooses to forget. So with forgetfulness, what you need is reiteration. What you need is practice. What you need is repetition. Really, what you need is repetition and a lot of practice. Okay, so you've taught long division today, and tomorrow the child can't remember the steps. You go again, you just go again. There are just some children like that. They can be very forgetful. But what you can do as a teacher is to practice, practice, practice. The child comes in the morning. Can I have your, homework book? Give the child a task. The child is definitely not performing at the level as other children. So you need to have some time with this particular child, knowing that this is what the child needs. Okay, so reiteration, reinforcement. That's the word I've been looking for. Reinforcement of topics taught, basically.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
I hope I answered for me.
Yes, I'm sure she will respond to
Right for
that.
me.
I think in addition to that, I think it can also help to sort of associate things, what concepts they are learning with other things.
Mm,
So hands-on examples would also help with children that forget things easily. Um, that reminds me,
absolutely.
I know that you've had some experience with learners with special needs because this issue raised by Fumi actually speaks to special needs, right? So can you share some of your experiences with us, maybe one or two, and how you were able to handle and navigate with those children despite the challenges?
All right. So a child with special needs definitely needs special educational needs. Okay. So you would need to, as a teacher, having a child with special needs in your class means that you would need to do more. And that's the truth. You would need to do more with such a child. You would need to have interventions. You will need to find out what works for that child. Remembering that all children with special needs are definitely not the same. Okay, so what works for child A might not exactly work for child B. So I had this child had throughout a session of school. Yes, and then so the child was homeschooled for a while, and then coming into the class, he was not exactly working at the same, definitely not working at the same pace as the other children. So we created a an intervention book for this child after we had had a what's the word now? A meeting with the parents, drafting a timetable, talking about the methods. What did you call it, Mr. David? Please remind me.
The meeting with the STEM department.
Yes, with the same department. Yes. So we had to have a meeting. We looked at what works, looked at where the child is coming from, and what we could put in place for this particular child. So it's really more work, but then it's not in the big things, right? It's in the little things. It's progress. I believe that that's the goal, really. Progress is the goal. So the child could was having issues with numbers, a lot of issues with numbers. Okay, so at the end of the session, the child could add. Okay, so other children could go ahead to multiply correctly, go ahead to divide correctly, but he had not gotten there. But he couldn't add at the beginning, but at the end of the session, he could add. Okay, so it's progress. Basically, it's progress. The little things and the efforts that you put in place, and ensuring that you're putting in as much as you can. It's progress that matters.
Thank you so much, Shay. I like what you said about not generalizing and sort of like having that mindset that every child has their own journey. For instance, you can have two children in the autism spectrum. The fact that they both been diagnosed with autism does not mean that the same intervention plan will work for them. You have to understand that each child is unique and different and find out things that work for them and then work with them based on that and celebrate their wins. So the fact that their colleagues can multiply does not mean that being able to add is not an achievement.
Yeah.
Well done, Shay. Thank you so much. Now, I know that the teaching job is very challenging. And okay, yes, I think I would tie that to this question. I wanted to talk about the ups and downs of teaching and how you stay motivated despite it all. And I can see that Potter's Hand Wilson has a question for you. The question is, have you ever felt frustrated trying to bring order into a rowdy classroom, and what did you do? How did you handle it? So please answer the rowdy classroom and then tell us how you stay motivated.
Of course, I have felt frustrated, especially when I just started teaching. the frustration was solid, especially when you just have children that are, would not just behave themselves properly. They would not just behave themselves properly. Sometimes the class can be so rowdy, but that was when I started teaching, of course. But I believe that, at this stage, class management is very, very key. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier is the fact that you set up classrooms right from the beginning of the session. We have all agreed this is what is acceptable and this is what is not acceptable. They set up the rule. They wouldn't want to fall in that category of having to miss playtime or having to, miss one thing or the other because of the behavior. Okay, so yes, basically, so setting up the classrooms and being consistent is very, very key. Being consistent is very key. So at the beginning of the session, yes, you could have that. They are still trying to align with, they're still trying to understand, okay, let me test my teacher. What will she allow me if I stand up and start jumping up and down? What will she do? Will she get upset? They're still testing. But when they see that there's no space for that, there's really no space for that here, they would adjust. Really, they would adjust. And thank God we're getting into a new session. Go with that mindset. From day one, this is what is acceptable, and reward positive behavior. Reward positive. I do that a lot. Wow, look at child A sitting properly, legs properly tucked in under the table. I'm going to give you 2 points. Where's my class dojo? Putting up 2 points. Once they hear that, everybody, and I mean everybody will adjust because they want good points. Okay, so right from the beginning of the session, put boundaries, put the rules in place, reward positive behavior, and make sure that you're meeting out consequences to negative behavior.
All right, thank you. So I picked the word consistency there. Because especially at the beginning, so the experience I have is that at the beginning, you're the one making the rules with them. But like you said, children can test. They will test you to see if you actually meant it. But then if you keep it up, after a while, even let me say, you will forget your rules in quotes. It's the children that will come and say, Mr. Debbie, did you notice that this person just did that right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the children will now be your eyes and ears. So, and you can now relax because you've done your job at the beginning.
Yes, so you do the hard work at the beginning, and after a while, you can then relax because you put structures in place. And I also like what you said about focusing on positive behavior, because it's very easy to always say, oh, you people, you're always making noise. This class is always noisy. In that moment of chaos, just look for one person that is keeping quiet and just say to that person and say, wow, I noticed that you were so calm and you were quietly reading your book. Please, you're getting 5 points for that. Well done. And then every other person is looking like, wow, I wish that was me. Oh, thank you, Shay. So tell us, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay, jiggy?
Okay, so really, teaching can be a lot. It can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, especially at the once you're getting to the middle of the term, to the end of the term, you're thinking of reports, you're thinking of paperwork, you're thinking of teaching, you're thinking of marking, you're thinking of so many things at once, and you still have your life, your personal life outside the classroom. Teaching can be very, very overwhelming. So one thing that works for me is surrounding yourself with positive energy. Really, surrounding yourself with positive energy. Like Mr. Debbie, sometimes I just pick up my phone. I'm calling. I need to rant right now. this just happened. When I'm done, she says, "Okay, all right." All right, just take it easy. This is what I think. This is where, and then I'm calm. I can breathe. And I know that whatever I'm saying is safe with her. And also having a community of people like that, even in the place where I work, people that understand what I'm going through. And people are really, really, really getting this right. Even at the workplace, what you find overwhelming, some other people find as okay. We've passed it now. We've gone past it. I have this teacher at the school where I work. She's very good that once she looks at you, she knows what's wrong with you, and she'll just say, okay, this is normal. This. She's giving you the medication you need at that particular moment. She's like the advisor. She's so good at it. So that's the kind of positive energy you want around you. And take some time to breathe. Take some time to breathe. Take some time to breathe. Surround yourself with positive energy. Basically, that's what I have to say.
Energy has to be positive around here. No negative energy. Thank you so much, Sheyi. Yes. And thank you for being there as well. For those times I need to just laugh. Can you imagine what just happened moments? Thank you so much. And I think that you've also touched on work-life balance as well. Or do you want to emphasize how do you manage to keep that balance?
Okay, well, how do I manage to keep this balance? Well, I am still managing to keep the balance. I have not gotten the hang of it. I have not gotten the hang of it. I shall not lie. But then I am trying. I am really trying. Okay, so I remember that my life is not all about teaching. Really, my life is not all about. I love my job, and that's the truth. I enjoy, and I always say it. I enjoy standing in front of a classroom and just having children, and then we're having this conversation, and just having these children all through about 9 months, and then but then I also have a life outside work, right? And sometimes it can be a bit difficult managing these two. But then, like I said earlier, I haven't gotten a hang of it totally. But then I try to ensure that I also have other things going on in my life aside teaching. I don't want to wake up one morning and see that all I've done with my life is going to class and coming back home. No, I do other things. I volunteer for. The truth is, volunteering makes me happy. When I hear there's this program for children, there's this program for health related program, Red Cross, Hope Foundation, Leap Africa. I just want to dive in and just enjoy myself. Once I'm done, I have my energy level goes like this, So doing other things at outside, classroom makes me happy. Gives me joy. Gives me joy.
So in summary, what you're saying is that we should ensure that we're doing other things that we find joy or derive joy in doing, right? Not just being centered around work. All right.
Yes.
I know that there's a new advent of AI, ChatGPT, Monica AI, and the likes. How do you stay current with teaching methods, teaching technology, despite your busy schedule as a teacher? And despite that, I feel like inside of everyone, there's that tendency to settle for mediocrity. Like, I beg, you people should hold it. Let me just stick with what I know for now. So how do you manage with new technology?
I know, right? So, like I said earlier, COVID opened our eyes. COVID opened my eyes to knowing that there's life outside the four walls of a classroom. You can connect children in this class with children in another school. You can do other things. You can open your mind. You can get to places that your legs cannot get to with technology, really. And you don't want to be raising children that when they get to where, when they get to the future, they are now using what you use. So as a teacher, trends are changing. this is 21st century. You don't want to be a teacher that is still using biro to write things that you could have typed. You don't want to be the teacher that is still calculating 24 plus 32 when you could have just, rounded these figures up and used something to make your work faster. And I think I started using ChatGPT because Okpe introduced me to it sometime, was it not last year? And I was wondering, what's this thing? What's this thing? But the moment I sat down with it, I was like, wow. So teaching, lesson planning can be this easy? Wow. So basically trainings, having a community of people who are also looking out to develop themselves, even as teachers, even looking at like the community of friends I have, looking at me, Christiana now. She introduced me to ChatGPT. Having people that can just tell you, babe, please check this thing, check that thing. How are you calculating what are you doing with your reports? Are you still writing with paper and pen? Having a community of people that are also looking out to advance their teaching methods, and also going for training. Basically, LinkedIn, you have different things right there that you can just dive into and improve yourself on, basically.
Thank you, Shay. So I heard community, I heard being deliberate about learning. You said you sat with it. Despite the fact that someone introduced you to it, you sat with it. You could have decided that I beg, don't stress my life, right? So you have to just be deliberate about improving yourself. And I was chuckling while you were talking because in this conversation, you've called me Okwe, you've called me Christiana, you've called me Miss Adebi.
Because you are confusing me. You are Okwe, you are Christiana, you are Miss Adebi, you are Tiana, you are Kai. What are you not?
Anyways, as we begin to thank you, Shane. As we begin to wind down, I'll just like you to tell us what are your finishing thoughts. I believe that on this call, even if people are not on this call right now, some people will get to see the video after now. There may be parents, there may be other teachers. So what are your final words to these people? And then you can also just round off by telling us your vision for education in Africa. Nigeria, come Africa. Yeah.
All right. So basically, I would like to say that as teachers, teaching is no small job. Even if you're not a teacher, as long as you have children in your care, as long as you have lives, some people would have turned out differently if they had a different teacher. Really, that's how important teachers are. Teachers are super, super important. Like I mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the session, I'm excited. Oh, I want to meet these children. At the end of the session, I'm like, I hope I gave him my best. I hope I gave him my best. So every moment we have with these children counts. Every moment counts, and make the very best of it. We just have 9 months with these children. 3, 3, 3, right? 9 months, and as teachers, as caregivers, as childminders, let's ensure that we're giving us our very best, knowing that these are lives that we have in our care. Okay, the future of education in Africa. I'm looking forward to a society where every child would have access to education, and not just education, but good quality education. Sometimes I look at where I currently teach, I look at the what these children have access to, and I know that they're getting a lot. They're getting a whole lot, and I really wish that, this can spread to those children in different parts of Nigeria in different parts of the continent, ensuring that they are getting the very best quality of education, not just education, but good quality, very good quality. And I hope and pray that we achieve it sometime, someday. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Shay. I like that consciousness
Thank
that you
you
have,
very
that you're
much.
raising global citizens. Like, yes, they may be in your classroom in one corner of Nigeria, but tomorrow they may be somewhere else on the surface of the earth. Thank you so much, Shay. It's such a delight to have you on here. You've come a long way, and I would
Thank
really
you.
like to
Thank you so
appreciate you.
much.
Thank you for the
Thank you so
conversations that we've
much.
had. Very enlightening, and we'll see at the behind the camera. Thank you so much, Shay. Please, can we say thank you to
Thank
our audience? Can we say
and thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. I see you.
yes? Thank you
Thank you so
everyone
much
for
for
watching as
joining.
well.
I see you, Mr. Careful, Endless Light, Emmanuel, Fumi. It's so fine. Thank you so much for joining. God bless you. And thank you, Miss Adebiyi, Christiana Opeyemi, Tiana
I
Kalu.
knew you were going to do that.
Thank you so much for having me. And I really like what you're doing. I'm glad that we can have these conversations. I'm glad that, it's not just happening in class. We're taking it out there. We're showing them this is what is going on, okay? And we can have these very intelligent conversations. And I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shay. Love you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest
Love
of the
you. Well done,
yeah.
Mr.
Bye.
Capo.
All right. Thank you, everyone.